Welcome to the podcast. My guest today is Nikki Workman. Gee, I actually got your name right out of the box.
Oh, yeah, we're long lost friends.
We quit. We don't even want to go down that. She was at a place, I'm going to say it, I didn't recognize her. And we kind of embarrassed each other, and then we found out who it was. But I was the one that embarrassed myself.
No, I didn't even know. You gave me a big hug, and you got your picture taken with me, and then I walked away, and you said to Kim, "Who in the heck was that crazy lady?"
Who is that lady? Who is that lady over there? I know I've seen her somewhere in here. I'd interviewed you, but see, that's just the way it is in this business because you just see so many different people, and then you go, "I know them from somewhere."
Right.
Everybody. Then
I probably interviewed them, and that was the case. So.
Anyhow, it's Nikki Workman. She is Director of Communications at the Marion County Board of Developmental Disabilities. Thanks for coming over. It's always a pleasure to have you. And we need to kind of get into a lot of this area about developmental disabilities because I think a lot of us, and myself included.
I didn't really know a lot about this world before, I started working here. So, so we're going to kind of start at the beginning of life.
Okay.
And just travel all the way through until the tomb, they say. So womb to tomb is
all right. So we're going to talk today really about an overview of your services, correct? All right. So let's start us off. Early intervention. I would take that that's the very young ages, correct?
It is, yes. So that is the very first step of entry into the County Board of DD. And not everyone starts there. You don't always know that you have a developmental disability or your child has a developmental disability until later in life. But those that we can catch early, it's so critical and it's such a great service. We can start as early as birth. Many times we get children like 6 months to a year because they've been in the NICU. Or, they've been in the hospital for several months and we don't get them until they're released. But sometimes they do a scan and they know their child is going to be born with Down syndrome. So we get them looped in right away. Sometimes as parents, we really don't want that to be the answer. We don't want it to be a developmental disability.
Right.
So we talk ourselves out of it sometimes. We hate for that to happen. We don't want that to happen because the sooner we can get them involved in services, the faster we can get them back on track, so.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
I just thought I'd ask it because you're kind of open to
that's a great question.
Now, let's go to our next group, which would be age 3 and up to roughly 18 or so?
Yeah,
18,
so
22?
we'll talk school age.
Okay.
Next, right. So we serve people through their entire lifetime until they pass away. So we have someone right now who is 88 years old that is receiving services. She's received our services for the 56 years we've been in existence, Wow. So we love that story.
All right, now, so we went from infancy up to 3. Now we went into the school age.
Yeah.
So now where do we go beyond this here? I guess basically 18
let's scooch our way through school age. So when typically we graduate at 17, 18, 19 years old, right? Well, when you have a developmental disability, you can actually opt into staying in school until you're 22. So you can choose services beyond school at 18, but you can choose to stay in school through 22. So we call that the transition age. Okay. So the schools, once again, are huge partners in that because they take this child on past their 18th birthday, and in that area of time, we are learning skills beyond the classroom.
So the barriers have come down on that. That's the key to this, it seems to me.
Yes, definitely.
And,
yes.
All right.
And we're thankful. We're thankful for the community for wanting that to happen and helping us make that happen. The schools, it was not an easy transition for them when all of the parents started plucking people, because we had all the teachers that were used to dealing with people with developmental disabilities. And then, the parents on their own regard went, well, no, I want them to go here. And then they're like, wait, we don't have a structure in place for this. So it was a little messy when it first started going down, but it's a beautiful.
Well, there was a lot of adaptation had to be made and accommodation. So, and then eventually this did happen. But it's like everything else. When you grow and do something different.
There's some pains.
There's a little pain to that. And so you kind of go through.
Yeah.
I guess the only couple areas that we maybe haven't talked about is about assistive technology,
Yeah, okay.
and money management.
Right. Okay. So money management is kind of one of those check-ins. It's a person who's super independent. They need minimal services. Our case managers are kind of just checking in on them, saying, "What do you need help with?" And normally they're like, "I'm good," but they really struggle with getting their bills paid on time,
Yes.
banking,
Yes.
managing their money. So we help tremendously in that area, and we have providers that will go in and kind of help them pay their bills once a month, and that's the only service that we provide.
Sometimes that's just an organizational thing, correct?
It is. I could use a money manager, I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, it is definitely just like you said, organizational and just that's just a difficult thing to do. There's lots of math involved, and there's bills coming from all different directions, and even just addressing envelopes and stamping.
Deadlines and different things, and some of that's such big challenges for people.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so we help in that area. We found that was a need, and now we have providers that will do that, assist with that. And then assistive technology is kind of new, and I'm super excited. How much time do we have? Am I good?
Cool.
Okay, good. So, because this one's really cool. So we just got a grant from Marion Rotary Club, and they are helping us fund we're calling it a smart station or a technology station, and it's going to be at the county board. So when people come in for those planning meetings, they're going to sit in a mock home, basically, where they can enter through a door that has remote services on it. So it helps people enter their own home safely. And there's the reason it's called remote supports is it is attached to a human at a day program, at a provider. So if they do need assistance, or they lost their key, or they can't remember their code, someone will speak to them before they even enter their home.
That's wonderful.
And help them. Yeah, it's so cool. It's so less invasive. So they used to have a person attached to them everywhere they went, and they don't really want that. It feels very suffocating sometimes to have a stranger in your home. Now many times those support staff become family to the people we serve, but sometimes there is a revolving door somewhat, there's rotation.
Yes.
Yeah, so this kind of it helps financially because we're not putting a support staff in that home 24/7, and it helps with independence because they only get the supports when they need it. And then inside the home, there's iPads or so that they can, log in when they need help with something. There's a video from one of our providers. The provider's name is Safe in Home. And I love this video because the gentleman is ready to cook at dinner, and he needs help with the instructions on the mac and cheese box. And so he hits the iPad and a human pops up and he's like, "What can I help you with? What are you struggling with today?" And he's like, "Well, I know I have to boil the water, and I know, but I can't remember what steps are after that. Can you just kind of walk?" And they walked him right through it, and he made himself some dinner, and it was like a 20-minute phone call instead of someone being right beside him the entire time. So
Nikki, we covered a lot of ground today.
We did.
So we want people, if they miss something, they always come back and listen to this podcast again.
Yeah, that's why I love this.
And I just want to say, and I know we took a lot of time, and maybe some people would say, "Well, gee,
they might be asleep."
Yeah, but I'm just saying, it's there. It's there for you.
That's right.
But you're getting a full education about
all the things you didn't know.
Yes,
all the
things you didn't know.
DD.
And so that was our attempt today, and
It
so
is.
that's what we did. So it took a little more time, but you know what? I think it's a great thing. And I want to thank you, Nikki Workman, for coming over from the Marion County Board of Developmental Disabilities.
Thanks for having me.
And being on the program. She's the Director of Communications, and you can tell she's good at communicating. So that's obviously
I like to talk. It might be a fault. My husband might say it's a little excessive.
I don't think I want to get into these things, but I do appreciate having you on. Thanks for being a part of the podcast and coming over. I think this is great work you're doing. Thank you very much.